A lot of us didn't get what we needed when we were kids, so we adapted, squished ourselves into unnatural shapes so we could survive. When we grow up, many of us stay in those squished, bent shapes unless we do the work to heal. Today, we're talking about our inner child, the part that wants to play and create, but also freaks out when life feels unsafe. We talk about grief, the self-soothing we never learned, and earwax. We're two childhood best friends talking about creative mindset.
I'm Emily Hatch.
And I'm Carrie Schaefer, and this is Honestly, Dear Listener.
Honestly, dear listener.
Woo!
Hi ho.
Heidi ho, dear listener. If you're watching this, it's very bright and the sun is very bright in her face.
Only on parts of my face though, because I keep moving so that the shadow is over my eyeballs, which is a lot like my real life right now. I'm just trying to stay in the shadows, hiding.
Do you want to tell us about that?
Oh no, thank you.
Okay.
Moving on. I'm just kidding.
I totally respect that.
I can't. I'm just sad. You know, dead dad, still sad. That rhymes. And that's where I'm at. You would think that like the best thing to do would be to just dive into your creativity, but sometimes I don't want to fucking do it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I think that that's really normal and natural. Like we have this idea of artists that we're just like consistently just like on that horse, like whipping our creativity and being like, hi ho, silver, yeah, yeah. But I just don't think that that's how it works. I think it's more, I mean, there are times of that, which are like, you know, the spring, but I think it's much more cyclical, like the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just sounds like maybe you're in the grips of autumn, which is really a trope because we are in the grips of autumn right now.
Literally, yes.
Which is like the whole idea is we are grieving the season of life and we're headed into something new, but not until we're done with our grief and we've wintered, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I was walking down the street here in New York. It's very pretty. You know, in movies they make autumn in New York. It's nice. But I was walking down the street and I'm like, wow, isn't death gorgeous? Like we're like, I just love it when all the things that were alive are now dead at my feet. Yay.
Yep.
Give me a latte. Like, okay. I'm still making things and working and helping other people make things, and that's great. But sometimes I just want to lay down.
Yep.
So, and sometimes I do. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about you.
Oh, well, I've been doing a lot of inner child work, which
Nice.
was always such an eye roll for me because I was like, okay, inner child, you know. Those are just my honest feelings, and I feel like I've done a big 180 on that because I've just dipped some toes into it and it's been inspired. I started going to ACA, which for all of you that don't know is a 12-step program called Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families, because when you're raised in fundamentalist religions, high control religions, that is a dysfunctional family. So here we are. And also there, because of trauma and stuff in my life, there were some adaptations that I did as a child wherein I changed myself in my natural straight out the vag nature to be straight out the vag. Yeah.
It's like straight out of Compton, but
straight out of
straight
out the
out
vag.
the vag. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Adaptations straight out the vag.
Yes. Like basically ACA is for anyone that they're going along in their life, living their straight out the vag nature life, and their nervous system took in something wherein it interpreted that if they didn't change in some way, if they didn't adapt in some kind of ouchy way, they might not survive, right?
Mm.
And this is actual survival, like I didn't get enough food growing up, and it's also not actual survival because the nervous system doesn't interpret between actual threat and perceived threat. All it
Mhm.
knows is threat, right? So even though I don't believe at any point that I knew of my survival was actually being challenged, my nervous system fully believed that. And it
Mm.
was frustrating because I could remind it 1,400 times a day, no one is coming to kill you. And it didn't care. It was
Mhm.
like, "Oh no, we're going to die. And where's our safety come from?" So I had modified my natural self to have a survival adaptation. And in doing so, I learned some coping strategies that were really, really unhealthy and unhelpful. And I think maybe I needed them as a child, but as I got to be an adult, I never changed them.
Mm.
Um, like I didn't separate from my parents. Uh, like my safety was wrapped up primarily in my mom. And here I am, 41, being like, if I'm not aligned religiously and ideologically with my mom, I'm unsafe. Like that's what my nervous
Mm.
system is believed. So I am detoxing from that. And that means that whereas I've been very much operating out of a wounded child place, I'm cultivating an adult me that can then go back and reparent that wounded inner child so that even though I didn't get what I needed in childhood, and I didn't, even though my parents were doing the best they could, they didn't have certain things to give me.
Mhm.
I can now go back and be that for my inner child.
Mm. Damn.
Yeah. So
Well, that sounds like really easy work.
yeah,
Like,
it's super
go
cinchy.
back. Yep.
Yeah.
Identify those things and then just parent yourself. I
Yeah.
know I have done that work just yesterday. And then it was done. Just kidding. No,
Yeah.
this
You
is
only have to
huge.
do it once.
It's a huge yeah. You're like, hey little child,
Uh
I'm
huh.
your new mom.
Right. Trust me. It's fine.
Bye.
You know, Emily, it's so weird being an organism that is both the parent and the child at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I mean, they weren't kidding when they said, like, I contain multitudes. Whoever
Mm.
said that. We do contain, like, if anyone is into like IFS, which is internal family systems, aka parts work. You know, if you've done any kind of parts work with a therapist or on your own, and you just think, oh, I'm just one person, you're sitting there and you're inviting, like, who else is in there? What
Mm.
other than my inner child and then me, like, who else is in there? And, like, all these people start, like, popping up. It's so
Mm-hmm.
weird. It's like the voice of my grandmother pops up and my critic pops up and, like, all this stuff. It's kinda
Mm.
crazy. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I say all of that to say that it's weird being an organism, a system, wherein there are multiple entities inside. Gosh, this sounds really like DID or multiple personalities, but it's not. It's actually a therapy tool that they use to
Mm-hmm.
help identify certain parts. And it's weird, like asking a question and being able to answer that question at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know what's interesting is when I ask the inner child things, I don't hear things as much as like a cognitive, like yes or no, as much as I
Mm.
feel the answer in my body.
Mm.
So the body, I'll be like, what do you think about this? And the body will have a reaction. Like the body, a lot of times, is the key to the answer to the question,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird.
That makes sense because nervous system. just reacts to things. And like you were saying, you had like
Mm-hmm.
maladaption as a child, and that signaled your nervous system to have panic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that if you're asking that part of yourself a question, she's always been reacting with your nervous system. Like,
Yep.
so
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, I asked her, or I told her the other day, I said, listen, I know you didn't get what you needed in your childhood, and that's just what it is, which is a grief in and of itself
Mm-hmm.
that I'm sitting with and working through. I don't think a lot of us got what we needed in our childhoods, by the way. I don't think I'm
Right.
special in this way. I think that a lot of us didn't,
Mm-hmm.
because our parents themselves didn't have it to give.
Yep.
And I'm not just talking about like food and stuff, although that is definitely also what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about like internal tools,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a lot, think about it. Our parents were raised by a generation that went through the depression,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you want to talk survival, like our grandparents' generation almost definitely, I would say it's probably more the rule than the exception to the rule that our grandparents' generation had some kind of adaptation that they felt they had to take on in order to survive, right?
For
Because
sure.
a lot of them were actually surviving. Like my grandmother remembers, um, she's one of 8 kids. They lived down in West Texas, dusty, whatever. They lived in a tent for some of their lives.
Wow.
And she remembers her mother, my great grandmother, sitting at the table weeping because there was nothing to feed the family. Right. So,
Wow.
like, that's survival. I've never been in that actual survival place, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so, yeah, think about it. Then those people went on to have their own kids who were informed by their parents' nervous system operated, which was probably a lot out of survival. And
Mm-hmm.
then our parents had kids, us. And if our parents didn't do the work to heal,
Mm-hmm.
then we're saddled with that same shit that our parents gave to us or didn't give to us.
And I mean, a really good place to uh, avoid doing the work and hiding from that is the church. Like,
Absolutely.
so your fundamentalist parents don't believe in therapy, don't believe in medication. Yeah, meaning our.
Oh, yeah.
So the work was like, cast all your cares on Jesus and stop.
Yes.
I mean, I think I've told you before that my parents said that depression was essentially selfishness.
Oh,
Um, so like if you weren't thinking about yourself as much, you wouldn't be sad. So like if you feel depressed, you should just help other people because then you'll be thinking about someone other than yourself.
yep.
Mhm.
Which what depression actually is, which is so sad knowing what it really is and then hearing what your parents taught you it was, is it's the body's way of being like, something's not right. Help
Mm.
me. Do something different. I need help. So
Mm.
then we're then ignoring those signals from our bodies. Like it's like we're doubling down on, like it's already like I need help and then we're like, nope, not you.
Just hold that head underwater,
Right.
and be like, "Come on now. Now
Yes.
once you catch your breath, let's go help somebody."
Mhm. Yep.
Like, shut up.
I was taught that anxiety, well, my parents didn't know it was anxiety. They had no idea what was happening to me was anxiety. They had no idea it was OCD. My mom still to this day is like, we don't need to label it. And I'm like, oh no, we do. Because if we don't, then it could be demons, like what you and a lot of the church told me it was
Mhm.
happening to me. Like I had major panic attacks, major OCD issues. And the church just was like, this is an attack from Satan because your mom is doing such meaningful work in the spirit. And so Satan hits us where we hurt the most, where we're most vulnerable, and that's our family. So that's why this is happening.
I didn't know that that was so you had not only were you dealing with this, but you had no it was happening to you because of your mom?
Yeah.
So not even like you're doing anything good, your mom is. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're being punished.
Right.
Complete
Yeah.
loss of control.
Yeah. Complete no agency whatsoever.
No. It's not even like you're doing a good thing.
Right.
Like, wow.
The fix was like, if that were true, then she could have just like chilled
Stopped.
out on the God thing, but that was never going to happen. That was not an option. I can say that she didn't have the knowledge, and she also didn't really go after the knowledge to understand what was really happening with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I will say that she was almost always down to comfort me and to talk me through my emotions. And so she was like amazing for that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that definitely helped me because I didn't have an off switch for the panic. She was the off switch. So anytime I
Mm-hmm.
was around her, I wasn't freaking out because I was like, oh, so yeah, I ended up believing after a while that my mom was my God. And I never said that out loud, and I never was really cognizant that that's what I was doing until like last year. And then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, my mom is literally my God, because she would always try and push me towards God because that was the thing that worked for her
Mm-hmm.
when she had trauma in her own life. And so I always felt really broken and defunct and like dysfunctional because it didn't work for me. God
Mm-hmm.
didn't work for me. And it was actually a torment that it didn't work for me because I'm going, why aren't I good enough for God to take away my panic and anxiety because he helped my mom? Why didn't he help me? And
Mm-hmm.
then it was like, oh, and then the father of all evil and lies has decided that he would focus his attention, his crosshairs on me for some reason because my mom is doing such big things in the spirit.
Jeez.
So it felt very cosmic. I
Yeah.
mean, you do. It feels like there is a spiritual war happening just right above my head, and that is terrifying. I'm constantly in a war field.
Yeah.
And then everything around me was reinforcing that. I mean, remember the Peretti books, like the
Oh
This
my God.
Present
Yeah.
Darkness and The Oath
Piercing
and
the
all of that,
darkness. The
Piercing the
oath.
Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just like totally, I was super into those books because they were the closest thing to like horror that I could get. But also, they reinforce this idea that, like, at any given moment, there is a war going on for your soul, and it's happening. You can't see it, but you can feel it, and it's happening basically like right outside your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can you be at peace or at ease or, in any way not panicky when that's happening?
Mm. Well, yeah, and I mean, we probably have talked about this before, but like, th- if you're going through something and there's an attack on you, it's because you're doing well, or your mom in this case, or whatever. So then you start to be afraid of not being afraid, because
Yes.
if you're okay, then that means the devil has you. So like you start to almost think of the panic as like a sign that you are doing well. So
Mm-hmm.
like that teaches you to not try to find peace and just try to accept what's happening to you. Like
Right.
and welcome it.
Yes. And there were so many times I can pinpoint them in my life. Like, this is such a habit for me where I'll feel like I'm doing well and I look around And all of a sudden I have this like shot of panic because I'm like, but if I'm doing well, like what, there has to be something, like there has to be something. I can't just be doing well. So then I go through like, did I pay my credit card? Did I do like, is something
Mm-hmm.
late? And then all of a sudden I'm combing through everything and I find, I mean, what you look for, you will find. I will
Totally.
find something catastrophic to worry about because that's what I know.
Yep. When I first moved, I was like really happy that I was in New York. And I kept just being like, what if I'm about to die?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've like finally gotten to the place that I want to be and I'm like happy about it. So I had to like
Mm.
find something to worry about
Yep.
because if it's just so deep in our programming to say if you're peaceful and happy, you're missing something
Right.
or
Yes.
something's wrong with you, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yep.
So yeah, you almost welcome the panic
Right.
and need it. It's
Right.
weird. I also grew up extremely anxious and my parents didn't do anything to help me and my parents were the comfort, the same deal. I mean, when they would leave, I would start vomiting.
Mm.
Like if they went on trips, I would
Mm.
get so scared that I was going to get sick. And my
Mm-hmm.
mom was the only person that I felt like could take care of me when I was sick. And so I would get sick, like not on purpose, but I would panic so much that I would start vomiting until they came
Mm.
home.
Mm-hmm.
Once they actually had to come home early because I couldn't stop throwing up.
Yep.
Like we're super healthy, in case you guys were
Good.
wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh so parenting. Yeah. Did you get any coping skills? Cause I don't think I got any like self-soothing
Oh,
help.
no, I did no. When it comes to I got a lot of coping skills that were dependent on other people. Absolutely. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I learned any coping skills for self-soothing. None.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that you ask that. I've never had that thought. I think you're right, though. We were not taught to self soothe. And I think in the religion that we grew up in, self soothing is leaning on your own understanding. You
Yep.
should be God soothing or like using God to soothe.
Yeah. Like meditation was a dirty word. Um, any like the only thing you should meditate on is God.
Yep.
Or else you're like of the world and you're new age and that's like
Mm-hmm.
demonic. So yeah, no coping skills. I remember
Yeah.
my mom like bragging about the fact that like I they didn't put me down for a nap because I would get so upset and they couldn't bear having me upset, so they wouldn't put me down for naps. They would just let me like fall asleep wherever I fell asleep whenever. And she said that she had a babysitter once that they never had back because she said don't put her down um to go to sleep. She'll just fall asleep. And she said, I walked in and you were like in your crib, so I knew she let you cry yourself to sleep and we don't do that. So like literally not even crying.
Mm.
Like there was no self-soothing
Yeah.
at any point.
Yep.
Like no wonder I'm a fucking mess. Anyway, sad about your dad?
Same.
What are you going to do about it? No idea. Call your dad? Oh, shit.
I'm laughing because it's really sad. And also I understand. Like on I've not lost a parent yet, but like, yeah. I mean that need for for that soother. I mean, it was the parents.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah. So, yeah, when I come along and I'm like, "Hey, inner child, I'm developing a parent for you and, you're safe now." My inner child goes, "Yeah, bullshit." Except she wouldn't say
Mm.
that because she'd be like, I don't trust you, because she was raised the way she was and she never heard swearing. Um, yeah, but she calls bullshit on it because she's like, No, it's, and to expect her to be like, okay, is to be like expecting a child who got taken away from their parents and now is in foster care to be like, great, fully trust these foster parents, go.
Mhm. You're my new mom. Nice. Yeah.
Right. Like, generally, that doesn't happen. And
Right.
so the name, we're playing the long game here, right? This is not like we just did this one thing one day and now we're good to go. This is like oh no, this is a practice. If you have a parent who has lost their kids because of, substances or whatever, and then they get clean and then they get their kids back, it takes time to build up that trust again. If kids haven't had food or they don't, trust their parents that they're going to feed them, you don't just give them food one day and they go, "Great, I'm good. I'll never worry about where my next meal is going to come from again." No.
Yeah. Yep.
They do things because they've adapted to that. So they might steal food from a neighbor or from school or whatever it is. Like, they might do these things because they don't trust the parent to provide them what they need.
Mhm.
And it's going to take time of the parent continually showing up and proving to the child, no, things are different now. Things are different now. And the
Mhm.
nervous system is no different. I mean, the nervous system in that scenario, it can't distinguish between actual parent and you as the new parent. Like, it's the same nervous system action.
Mm.
So it makes sense that in the work for me is, oh no, I'm going to keep showing up, which means that I keep doing the work and supporting myself to be a parent that you can trust, nervous system and inner child.
Mm. Mm.
And it's a lot. It feels like a
Yeah.
lot of work, but I would argue it's the most important work of our lives. And also, a huge motivator for me is, like we talked about before, you have a way of passing on your shit to the next
Mm.
generation unless you, meaning me and you, get the help that we need. And so, um, to me, that's the greatest gift you could give your kid, is the
Mm.
gift of you being okay, not just okay, but like loving yourself. I
Mm.
think because naturally, if you have that well in hand, you'll be able to teach your child how to do that and not pass down the shit that you were given. So,
Mhm. I think our
I,
children take after how we treat ourselves
mm-hmm,
more than how we treat them.
yep, I think that's
Like,
probably really true.
I learned a lot about how to hate myself by watching my parents hate themselves. They
Yep,
were always really great to me, but
yep,
mean to themselves.
yep.
So I agree.
So that's why we do this work, not only for ourselves and our own creativity, which is so freaking important in our lives because we're here to create, but also to not pass things down to our kids, the people that we created. It's all part
Hmm.
of creativity. It's all wrapped up in one big chili pot.
And I think our truest self is that little kid in us. And I've noticed since you've started this work, you're doing more of your creative work
Hmm.
than you ever have because that we have more of a direct line to that true self that wants to make stuff, you know?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that inner child is the seat of our creativity,
Mhm.
right? It's the thing that is like all creativity is play. What does a child
Mm.
do? Unless you're Emily. Play, which you played, but that's a reference to earlier episodes.
Uh-huh.
um,
Yeah, I think that was my little kid trying to adapt
mhm.
thing though. Like I always had to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
like at any time, you know. So even my play had to be productive. So now I resent productivity sometimes
I get it.
because I'm like, you can't make me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's like, but I want to.
Yep.
No, you don't. Sit down. Don't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
what?
So if we have nervous systems with inner childs that are so focused on survival, whether we're surviving or not doesn't matter. Whether if the nervous system perceives that it is surviving, why would we play? What
Mm,
is play when you are surviving? It's like
mm.
when you have a child that is not getting properly fed at home. So they come to school starving, and we're like, you should care about math. And they're like, cool. I just need to make sure that I eat and that I make sure my little brother and sister eat. Like,
Yep.
what?
Yeah. Who cares about math right
Who
now?
cares about math when I'm just trying to stay alive? And the same thing
Yeah.
goes for the nervous system. Like, who cares about your stupid
Mm,
short story, Carrie, full of people that aren't real
mm.
when you feel like every moment is a fight for survival?
Oh my God. You're speaking my language. That was really like when I got to New York, I was like, why am I having panic attacks? Why am I, like, and it could have been connected to the like, I finally did the thing and I'm worried, but like, I do think it was like, I stopped wanting to make anything.
Yeah.
I felt like I was and my therapist was like, I think you're in survival mode. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you have been since you had your child, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, so when am I supposed to make anything if everything I was trying to do for art had to be making me money so that I could survive and provide?
That's it. And I know I can already hear, because I have a friend, a very good friend of mine, when she is surviving, she automatically goes to creativity. Like,
Mm,
that is what helps her feel safe.
mm,
And it wasn't that, and I think that was probably the case when she was growing up too. Like, that's where her safety was, is in
mm,
creating.
mm,
And I think that's amazing. I think for me and you and for a lot of people, it isn't that way. It's like, stop everything and survive.
mm-hmm,
And our creativity is a casualty of that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, weirdly, I think I connect singing to survival,
Hmm.
but not creativity, which is weird. I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about this as you're saying it. Singing is what kept me safe
Hmm.
because my parents approved. I got attention. I was like bringing people to God and whatever through my singing, but not
Mm-hmm.
through my creativity. Like, I didn't,
Mm.
I wrote songs and stuff, I guess, but like later, I wasn't creating anything. I was just singing.
Mm-hmm.
And now sometimes I resent singing. And I've talked about like sometimes I don't know if I want to be a singer, you
Yep.
know? And I think it's because that was my survival and is my
Mm-hmm.
survival and what I did for money and what like what made
Yep.
my dad approve of me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now, how to divorce the survival from the thing, like how to separate
Right,
survival from the singing, that I have no idea.
right,
I
right.
know that there's got to be a way to do it, and I'm sure it's probably through nervous system work and like talking to your inner child, but
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Uh, how you doing out there, listener? How's your little baby child? How's
Yeah.
what's your survival look like?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we just over here being a little nutty and you're like, "Okay, guys." I think we all need to do this work, just saying.
Yeah. I think I would be really surprised if they're a big part of the population that didn't have some kind of adaptation or survival. Um, in their nervous system. And I think it's especially like if trauma happens when you're older, I think that's a different dynamic than if you've had trauma as a child. Because when you are as a child, your brain is still forming. You are still building mental structures
Mhm.
and mental structures that you will use probably for the rest of your life if you don't do some, you know, some work to create new mental structures. And so things kind of get stuck. I feel like
Mhm.
when you are surviving in childhood, it's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah. Ew. I don't know why when people say that, I picture earwax.
Oh, I picture like candle wax, but
I know, I think that's what normal people do, but I picture like brown sticky earwax.
ah, I wonder where that came from. I always wonder where our idioms come from. Like it's a whole other ball of wax. It must, yeah, I don't know.
I interrupted a productive thing you were going to say to make everyone picture a ball of earwax.
I mean, is there anything better than getting out a big ball of earwax though?
Have you ever had to go to the doctor for that?
For earwax?
Mm-hmm. Like it's stuck in there?
No, have you?
One time. I didn't know though. I was having ear pain and they were checking it out and they're like, "We're going to do a flush of your ear." And this massive chunk of impacted wax popped out of my ear. I know this is totally your thing. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then they're like, "You might want to lay down for a while." And I was like, "I think I feel fine." And I sat up and I was like so freaking dizzy. It was crazy.
Inner ear
Which is
stuff.
yeah, which is odd because like it's not your inner ear, but it's probably the way that did you know that your ear contains the tiniest bones in your body?
Really?
Isn't that the cutest thing?
I want to see them
Picturing
now.
little tiny, they're like stapes and something. They're these little itty bitty bones that are behind your eardrum and they like tell your inner ear stuff. Like it's like they're little linked together and they like communicate back what's happening out there.
Wow. The
Isn't that
body's
cool?
so weird
It is
and
so weird.
cool. I
Yeah.
want to see your inner ear bones, Emily. Like, how can I know you for so long and I never get to see your inner ear bones? I feel like you're hiding something from me.
I am. I stapies.
Yeah, I just wish,
Isn't that
I
the
so
cutest name?
wish. They're actually called stapies.
One of them is called a stapies.
Oh my
I think.
gosh, that's real cute. If they're forcing water into your inner ear, that's going to throw something off. I
Well,
think
it's not
that's
into
probably where
your
it came from.
inner ear though. It's technically your middle ear.
Oh, because your inner ear is underneath the eardrum?
Yeah, it has to it probably pushes against that cuz I think your
Mm-hmm.
crystals are maybe in middle ear. I can't remember. A girl takes one audiology class and she thinks she knows everything. Um, but she don't. It's the crystals in your ear that like tell you where your head is.
I've heard that when you have vertigo, it's because something with the crystals is off.
Yeah, your crystals and how they lean are what tells your brain where your head is.
You guys, I can't.
Isn't
I
that
just
crazy?
the body is so wild.
We're talking inner child. We're talking inner ear.
Right? All the
We
inners.
yeah,
Well, there you go, dear listener. There you go. There's an
that's how you're listening.
yes, dear listener. See, you couldn't be a listener if you didn't have ears. And we just woman-splained the ear thing to you. This isn't it from two non-professionals. You're welcome.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why you come here. That's why you come
Yes.
back
Yeah.
fortnightly to
Fortnightly.
hear us discuss the inners.
Well, I think that's about all we have for today.
Mhm. Good luck with your little child self and being a better parent.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a fortnight, dear listener.
Honestly, dear listener.
Woo.